Welcome to all that's joining me here today. This is part 2 of chapter 1 of To Cross the Finishline by 13 Shadowpixies. We left off at They All Gasp. Now on to part 2.
Hey, it's the same as your little buddy, Bulkhead declared. Somehow, B didn't like where this was going. Little buddy? Oh, yeah. Whoever this guy was had a good taste. He laughed uneasily. He looked over at Optimus, who was staring at the tape. Maybe this tape would give us some answers. And with that, one by one, went back to the main room. 5 minutes later, found them all in the main room. Are they still in the basement? Or upon the first level? If they're on the first level, didn't it take them an hour to get to the basement? And Prowl setting up the tape. A moment later, he was done and sat down on a makeshift chair that he made a while back and pushed play via the remote. The camera was switched on to the news channel, which confused the Autobots. Ladies and gentlemen of the racing world, I am Claire Bennett, and I shall be your host for the evening. It would be my greatest honor in doing so. For this year of the World's Racing Grand Prix hosts none other Sarah Sundak. The crowd cheered in the background. That's right, Sarah Sundak, aka the Bee Demon. She's a legend among the woman division as the racer that always comes first and the fastest thing on wheels. Sarah Sundak. Apparently, championship day isn't the only thing on her mind. It's also her daughter's 4th birthday. Little Sorry Sundak and her dad are sure to be cheering her on the stands. Sorry? Bumblebee asked, shocked. Mostly to the camera, switched to somebody actually holding the camera. Isaac Sundak. Sorry was laughing because her dad couldn't keep the thing balanced to save his life. Daddy, let me hold it. His laughing could be heard as the camera focused on a little, Sorry. Come on, Dad. Mommy's waiting. After a moment, they were in the garage her mom was assigned to. It was huge. But what caught the Autobots' attention was the pit crew. It was them. The human versions of them from the virtual world. No way. No way, Bulkhead trailed. Impossible, Optimus said in awe. There's no way that is possible, Ratchet yelled in disbelief. That's us, Bumblebee yelled while pointing to the screen. The camera focused on a woman in the front of the pit crew in yellow. Then she turned. She looked like an older version of Sorry. She was close in height to the human Optimus, had cinnamon-like chocolate skin, red eyes, red hair, also in 2 ponytails, but going to her waist in length and in layers outwards behind her. She wore a black and yellow racer's uniform. She squealed and Sorry ran into her arms as her father took the camera. He actually managed to steady it, surprisingly. She looked just like her, Bee stated gently. Sorry, I'd like to introduce you to my pit crew, she said while standing with Sorry in her arms. Sarah waved her hand to each of them as she said it. But you gotta remember, with us and how things are going, can't use our real names. So, on the track, we each have our own nicknames. Cool, Sorry giggled. Sarah chuckled and pointed to, over there is Ratchet. What? Said the bot. Ratchet is the medic accident. Then whisper in Sorry's ear. He is a war veteran and tends to go into his old war stories when you least expect it. So I suggest bringing a pillow around him. Hey, I heard that. The girls just laughed. Our Ratchet grumbled and Bee and Bulkhead snickered. Over there is Optimus. He's the self-appointed leader of the group. Normally it would be the driver, but he actually gets things done, so I let him take the wheel on that. Sarah rubbed her head sheepishly. Our Optimus chuckled at that. He saw his other in the background and saw how similar they were in many ways. Over there is Bulkhead. He's the mechanic. I had these guys on my crew for a month now. They are way better than my old crew. Prowl is somewhere around here. Apparently he is a distant cousin to Optimus. Our Optimus and Prowl look at each other. Cousins? And then there's... Oh! Yo, Optimus! Said man turned and faced her. Do you know where your son is? I want to introduce them, she yelled over to them. They were on either side of the garage, messing with a car under the hood. Knowing him, he's probably in trouble of some kind, he joked. Our Optimus was deep in thought, wondering who his son would be. He groaned. All right, I have a few minutes. I'll go and find him. Would you guys mind watching her for a few? Sure, Bulkhead said cheerfully. He was covered in grease and oil. Sorry giggled and ran over to him. The duo immediately became friends. Bulkhead chuckled at that. Bumblebee was trying to figure out his other self was. Don't bother, he's right here. The camera turned to see Prowl's counterpart holding a human being in mid-air by his shirt. He looked 12 years old, though. Hey, let me go. Bee struggled. Shara rolled her eyes. Prowl popped him on the ground, grabbed his ear, and dragged him over to Optimus. Optimus crosses his arms, but he looked like this was a everyday occurrence. Prowl, said man sighed. I found him on my computer, trying to play video games on it. When I was 12, I was playing Diner Dash that was on a cruise ship, and Pop Tropica. At which both Bumblebee snickered at, while both Prowls rolled their eyes and glare, almost in sync with their counterparts. An announcement came on saying that the preliminary race is gonna start in an hour. Shara put her hands on her hips and smiled. Guys, it's alright if I have a few minutes alone with her? They nodded and left. Optimus was dragging Bee by the hair. Everybody got a kick out of that, except for Bumblebee, of course. Even Isaac, her dad, left the room and left the camera on the table nearby showing them, and the covered-up car. After a moment, the two were alone. Shara looked sad for some reason, and then failing at trying to hide it. Meanwhile, Sari was running up to the car. Can I see the car? Please, 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 please! While making the cutest pout ever, Sarah couldn't help it. She laughed and shook her head. Sir, sweetie. Sarah walked over to the car and yanked off the seat over it. It was a wrecked car from earlier. The difference is the car had a makeover. The yellow paint had this metallic shine to it. Various shades of yellow and orange depending on the lighting. Black stripes had this custom spray painted pinstripe design on top that made it look even cooler. The design was thin lines of varying shades of blue with tiny metallic painted. All spark crystals were here and there, ending with a stylized version of Shari's key. The wheels were traded for the kind specifically for racing. Everything was modified for racing. Wow, and you're driving this? Even Bumblebee had to stare in awe at it. You like? Shara asked while opening the driver's side door. Sitting inside, trying to show it off, Shari giggled. This car is so cool. I wish I had a car like this. Everybody cast a subtle glance at Bumblebee, thinking about Shari. Who knows? Someday you will, Shara said while shrugging with a smile. Then she frowned. Shari, come here. She patted her lap. She looked at her curiously, reluctantly sat in her lap. Shara wrapped her arms around her. I want to apologize. I haven't been around you as much as I would like because of my busy schedule. It's okay, Mommy. I'm used to it from Daddy. That's still no excuse. Look, what I'm saying is that this championship race will be my last one for a while. After the race today, I'm retiring so I can be with you more. Shari's eyes widened happily, but then frowned. But you love to race. You're always happy on the track. Still, silence between them. Sorry got an idea. She pulled something out from her pocket. I got you something. It's for luck in your race. She held a little air freshener. For me? Sorry nodded happily. Sarah gently grabbed it and placed it on the rearview mirror. So, have you named the car yet? Sorry asked, trying to change the subject. Sarah laughed and the two got out of the car. She closed the door and the two stood in front of the camera, back to them. Sarah put her hands on her hips and thought, and little Sarah copied her. Then after a moment, Sarah jumped up and down, waving her hand like she was in a classroom. Ooh, I have an idea. Sarah laughed at the little girl. And what's your idea? She said, leaning over playfully. Bumblebee! The bots blinked in surprise. Bumblebee? Why Bumblebee? Sorry huffed and ran to the car. Because it's black and yellow and has those freaky stripes and reminds me of one. They looked at each other, then started laughing. The bot snickered at Bee, who smiled, lost in his own thought. Alrighty then. She walked over to a table, picking up a crowbar, walking over to the car. She then held out the bar like she was trying to knight someone in a play. In the name of Sorry Sundak, I now christen this car. This car will forever be known as Bumblebee. Sorry jumped and cheered. Our guys just laughed playfully at all of this. Alrighty, enough play. Why don't you go play with Optimus' son and call the others back in so we can get ready? Sarah asked with giggles. Okay, Mommy. While running to her mom, jumping in her arms and giving her a hug, Sarah held tightly and spun her around and then just held her. Sarah grabbed the camera and ran out of the room, giggling. Then the camera turned off for a moment, then turned back on to see Sorry looking for Bumblebee, but instead saw Optimus making out with Alita 1. You should have found a better place, my dear bub. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will continue this story in the next video. The link to the story will be in the description below. Please check it out and leave comments to 13 Shadowpixie. She'll be waiting. Have a wonderful day. Take care and stay safe. Bye-bye.